Welcome to Stars Launch Pod, where we chat with innovators who are overcoming challenges, pushing boundaries, and collaborating to make space more accessible and sustainable for humanity, one launch at a time.
It's one small step for man.
Here's your host, Susan Wise.
Welcome to Stars Launch Pod, space, technology, and research sciences, brought to you by starsciences.org, where we connect, collaborate, and accelerate. I'm your host, Susan Wise. And joining us is Dallas Bienhoff, currently the space systems architect at Off-World Incorporated, where he is responsible for ensuring their space concepts have commonality, are synergistic, and modular, whether they are surface or free-flying systems. He also leads their cislunar transportation development efforts. Mr. Bienhoff also led the Moon Village Association's Lunar Economics and Commercial Working Group's Earth-to-Moon Transportation Market Team, and was co-chair for the AIAA Cislunar Ecosystem Task Force's Enterprise Architecture Working Group. You are a very busy person.
Yes. Keeps me out of trouble.
Okay, you've got a lot going on. It's so nice to have you on here,
Thank you.
Dallas. I'm looking forward to visiting with you. When it comes to the space industry, things are pretty hot right now, pretty exciting stuff happening. And we'd like to know what you are working on to help further the space industry. What's going on?
So we've got a couple of things happening. We're supporting a contract on how to use ISRU in resource utilization on the moon to enhance the capabilities of surface habitats. We're doing that for a prime contractor, and we're just about wrapping that study up.
It's exciting because that's happening. That's going to happen.
It is. And then the other thing we're in the middle of is our preliminary design. We just started for an Off-World Prospector 1, our Off-World Prospector 1 mission, which is a large vehicle with prospecting instruments and tools to find icy regolith in permanently shadowed regions on the moon. It has subsystems for extracting oxygen from the dry regolith, for extracting water from the icy regolith, and then electrolyzing that water to produce oxygen and hydrogen as a demonstration of what we need to do to use those resources to live on the moon and to refuel reusable vehicles that are departing the moon.
Wow, that's fantastic. That's definitely a
Yes.
need if we're going to be living there for any amount of time. Wow, that's exciting. So that is in the final stages, or where are you at
We're
with
just
that?
starting the preliminary design. So
Okay,
we've got
wow.
over 20 participants on board with us that we've talked to and have laid out how that fits on our vehicle. We've had discussions with launch providers, but we don't have a launch contract yet. So we're at least 3 years away because of the launch integration process.
Okay, I understand
And money.
that.
Don't forget money.
And money, funding. There's always funding.
Of money.
Our middle name,
Yes.
right? What was one of your biggest aha moments that you'd like to share with us?
I think I'll go back to the Constellation program after the vision for space exploration. We did a study on how to implement the vision. This is 2004 time period. And NASA had devised a plan to send a lander on top of a large rocket like the SLS, but different, called Ares 5. And they were able to land about 18 tons on the surface of the moon. The lander vehicle, the ascent vehicle, and the people and the equipment. We looked at propellant depots and refueling that system in orbit, in Earth orbit, before going to the moon. Because Mike Griffin, the then NASA administrator, had said, if it were there, we would use it, but it has to be commercial. So we looked at that, and you could take the same systems, refuel them in Earth orbit, send them to the moon, and land 51 tons. A 33-ton increase, almost a factor of 3.
Wow.
And that was a game changer. Also, at the same time, SpaceX was just getting started. They hadn't flown yet. They'd posted prices for their launches. They had a Falcon 5, a Falcon 1, a Falcon 9. And based on what, again, Mike Griffin said, the value of propellant was for them in orbit, and what SpaceX was offering to launch things to orbit, we thought it would make a commercial propellant. It would make it viable, but that never went anywhere. And then depots became a bad word in the NASA community because they felt it threatened the SLS or the constellation at the time, the Ares 5. And so they didn't want to talk about depots.
Okay.
So that was a big aha moment.
During all your different explorations, you've had, I'm sure, challenges
Right.
along the way. What has been one of your biggest challenges, and then how did you overcome that?
I think I'd like to say it's fighting institutional inertia based on that previous story and personal inertia. You know, we all have things, we do things the way we do them because we've done them that way. And that's really embedded in a low risk activity like the NASA programs. You know, they really don't want to fail before they do a mission. They're costly and everything. And this, using the propellant depots and refueling in space and using LOX hydrogen instead of LOX RP, rocket propellant, or LOX methane, was such a hard hurdle for people to overcome in terms of their thinking. And I really didn't overcome it because I didn't have the money to do it. I did. I promoted it for 5 years as with my own company, a reusable architecture that did that. But without the money, you can't show that it will work. But
why do you think it was such a hard hurdle to overcome in their thinking? Why do you think that?
Because it threatened the way they wanted to do things. It
Change.
threatened the big launch vehicle. We need to have a big launch vehicle to do a mission in one launch. Well, Artemis is never going to be done in one launch, as we know today. I didn't overcome it, but the industry is overcoming it because it has to be done in order to have a sustainable presence on the moon. You know, Artemis, or with SLS getting astronauts to the lunar vicinity at the gateway. It takes spaceship or Starship or Blue Origin's Blue Moon to get us down to the surface. In order to be reusable, they have to be refueled at the gateway. In order to get propellant to the gateway, the carriers have to be refueled in Earth orbit because it takes so much propellant. So industry has finally caught up with what more than me that felt was a better way to do things. There were others that promoted this idea as well. And it was a stress on our jobs. Yeah.
I'm sure. You have any advice you'd like to share with our listeners?
It's a little cliche, but find your passion and follow it as a career. I really have played every day since I started working, if you want to call it that.
As I say, you'll never work a day in your life if that's
Exactly.
what you do.
And it is, you know, I love what I do. I did what I do for 5 years on my own without income other than retirement. You know, thank God for pension retirements. You stay involved. You do it because you love it. You don't do it because you have to. It's not that you're doing something to look forward to the future. You're doing something to create the future. Yeah.
True. I mean, well, with the government shutdown, it kind of put the brakes on things for a little bit with NASA, but now things are back open and up and moving along. And Artemis 2, any thoughts on that?
Artemis 2 is slated to happen in April of 26. It might happen as early as February. I'm concerned because there's still an issue that I don't know if it's understood about the heat shield on the return of Artemis 1. There were chunks that came out of the heat shield in its return to Earth. I don't know. The last I've read was NASA still didn't understand why.
Well, you need to understand why so it doesn't happen again.
So I don't know. I don't know if they've solved that.
Yeah.
Artemis 2 is really an important mission before Artemis 3. It's kind of a time filler schedule-wise. But we'll see. I hope it's successful, even with issues. I mean, what happened, let's look at what happened with the Boeing Starliner and its issues getting to station. And so NASA didn't use it to bring the outs home. They flew it home empty. Just last week, the Chinese crew vehicle was hit by a meteor And so they came home on the vehicle that brought the replacement crew up, and they're going to send up a replacement vehicle. So there's always a way to get home. That's not a viable solution for going to the moon and back for Artemis 2. You can't send up a replacement vehicle.
That is something to
Right,
consider
right.
and to think
Right.
about. Before we wrap up, I want to know, do you have a passion project? I know you
No.
talk about, this is your passion, but maybe any other passion project, past or present, that you'd like to talk about?
I really want to get us off the planet. So how do we get us off the planet? We need to be able to use the resources that are there to minimize the logistics flow that's got to follow us. So I'm doing my passion project. I'm helping us move humanity off the planet, producing resources or finding resources, determining if they're reserves, showing that we can do that, and reducing the cost of going and staying.
Dallas, just
Yep.
one more quick question. I just wanted to see if you have any thoughts on going to Mars. I know it's a long way off, and,
We should go.
a lot has
Right,
to happen.
Right. We should go, and I applaud Elon Musk for that being his vision of putting millions out there. I mean, he's building a rocket factory like a car assembly line. I just read he's talking about 3 starships a day, 1,000
Wow.
a year, and sending in to Mars. I would love to retire on Mars, just like Elon. I mean, I would go given the opportunity, but there are many people that want to go. I think we owe it to ourselves and humanity to find out if we can. And the only way to find out if we can is to try. We need to go. We need to go not only the moon and Mars, but throughout the solar system.
Agreed.
But better
Agreed.
propulsion would help us.
Well, I'm so glad the work that you guys are doing there, and look forward to all the new stuff, everything new coming your way. And I'd love to visit with you
Yeah.
again, if that's okay, and get
That's
an
fine.
update.
Anytime.
All right. Dallas Bienhoff, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today. We really appreciate you being here. Thank
You're welcome,
you.
Susan. Have a great day.
Be sure to join us where we connect, collaborate, and accelerate. We'd like you to join starsciences.org. You can get a free 1-year membership. Just put in the promo code FRIENDS321. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review and subscribe. Until next time, keep looking up.
Don't miss an episode. Subscribe on your favorite streaming platform. Watch us on YouTube and follow us on social media. Stars Launch Pod, propelling us forward, one launch at a time.